Beauty is eternal, and I should know on Film Threat Reviews. Hi, I'm Alan Ng. I'm a Zorianna Kit, and today we are reviewing Eternal Beauty. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment below on what you thought about the film. When Jane is dumped at the altar, she has a breakdown and spirals into a chaotic world where love and family relationships collide with both touching and humorous consequences. Written and directed by Craig Roberts, stars Sally Hawkins, David Thewlis, and Billie Piper. So in general, to me, Eternal Beauty is a story of a woman with schizophrenia and kind of how she lives her life today. It's almost to me, it was a dramatic Curb Your Enthusiasm type episode. Just things aren't going quite right for her throughout the entire movie. Well, what are your thoughts about Eternal Beauty?
Well, I think that Sally Hawkins is one of the best actresses we have working today. I mean, everything that she is in, no matter what the film is, she herself is just amazing. She's flawless. She can literally play anything, be anyone. I love her. And this film is no exception with her and the acting in this movie. She's fantastic. The movie as a whole, for me personally, the topic was quite depressing. It is a downer of a film. And it not only does she have this mental illness, but the entire family is dysfunctional on so many other levels. And her sisters, both of them, her mom and her dad. And so the whole thing had a very kind of like depressive feel to it. It was just such a downer. The film had a little bit of those fantastical elements that Charlie Kaufman had in the Netflix film. I'm thinking of Ending Things. So
also, I should add Tesla too.
Oh yes, Tesla's yes, exactly. There was this otherworldly, fantastical element, which I thought was interesting, but both in the Kaufman film and in the Tesla film, that didn't quite work for me. And here, it actually did work, but I think it was just the depressive mood that just kind of, I was bummed. It's hard to recommend a movie where your lead is so superb, but the overall feel is just such a downer. You know, I want to recommend a downer movie.
Yeah, Sally Hawkins did a really good job. It's almost cliched for great actors and actresses to do these roles and nail it, and then gush over it. She did a good job, but it's like, all right, last year we had Judy Garland, Renee Zellweger.
Yes.
We go back to Russell Crowe with Beautiful Mind.
Yes.
When you watch these things, it's almost as if you're looking for cringe moments, and that's more or less why you're watching at this point, as opposed to the narrative itself. It's like, okay, when is she gonna slip? When is she gonna do, make the big faux pas that we're all gonna be talking about on social media? And I say that cynically, but I do agree with you. I do like the story, and I think the story is really its star. It's this idea that we have a tendency to throw people away because of conditions they're suffering through. In this case, schizophrenia. And it's easy just to write people off, but to show that she is a person who is still a living person and can find some kind of meaning in life, even though at every turn life throws her in the wrong direction.
Yes, I agree with you, because this isn't a caricature of someone who's schizophrenic. It's not someone that's walking the streets homeless and twitching and hearing voices and talking about voices that they're hearing. She is living a full life. She has her own apartment. She does experience romance. She does sing. She has family dynamics where one of her sisters uses her. She does spot something in her sister's marriage that, ends up being helpful to that sister. So I really like the well-roundedness of
Mhm.
of this character, because and I could see that being an attraction for an actor to play.
Yeah.
So it is a great study of a it's a great performance piece, and it's a great study of an actor playing a mentally ill person.
Yeah, and it's also an interesting, so in terms of a movie, it's an interesting story device where your character doesn't have necessarily a goal or an end game, the full arc, so to speak. But it does lead to this ending that kind of, in a single moment, kind of puts the button on the entire story, which I appreciate that, and I do think that kind of ending does also turn off audiences, only in the sense that we do want this beginning, middle, and end. We want the hero to be in one spot, and then at the end be in this, have won the lottery or been cured, which which in her case, she doesn't get cured. Um, but it does lead to an ending that really makes you look back on, it makes you reflect on her condition, people like her.
And we do get a lot of flashbacks to her childhood, and you do see certain areas of major trauma that are affecting her disease today, which I thought was also very interesting. And also, it's like, at the end of the day, no matter how, and this goes whether you're mentally ill or not, at the end of the day, no matter how messed up your family is and how poorly they treat you in certain moments, at the end of the day, they're still your family, and you do end up sticking with them, no matter if it's not, the most ideal. I mean, one of her sisters just is using her for her own gain, and yet at the end of the day, they are sisters.
Their family,
and to be together in facing issues that are happening in the family.
Yeah, and I think that's why there have been films like this with this kind of a story structure, and I hear often that that's the reason I didn't like the movie, because they do want some Hollywood ending, and you're just not going to get it, and I don't think you deserve one. I don't think the story needs that. It's just this idea that we're all people, we're all trying to make it through life, and we do. We're not all going to win the lottery at the end of the road.
It's relatable whether or not you have someone in your family that's mentally ill or not, just because of family dynamics exist, no matter if you're healthy or not healthy. That's the bottom line. And I think everyone can relate to just messed up dynamics that just happen. That's just happens.
Yeah. Okay, so you were intrigued by the story. You thought Sally did a great performance. It was depressing, and so I would think maybe 7.5.
Yeah, 7.5. 7 felt too low because there was nothing bad about the film in terms of the writing, directing, and the acting. It was just a personal preference of, I just felt it was a bit of a downer. Maybe I need to be should have been in a more of a downer mood when I watched it, but so I didn't want to rate it too low, but I also didn't want to rate it off the chart. So 7.5 seems like a nice middle ground for me. And I sort of feel like you are a little bit on the same page as I am, and I wouldn't be surprised if you gave it a 7.5, half a point up or down either way.
Yeah, I gave it a 7. It was good. I think it is slow. There's a little low energy, but I did love the performances. It's been done and done masterfully, but it's been done. That's my only feeling. All right, so this was Eternal Beauty, starring Sally Hawkins, David Thewlis, and Billie Piper, who was also good. Loved her. And be sure to visit filmthreat.com for more news and reviews of independent films. And with that, let's get out of here.